Feeling chilly? SG Heating and Cooling. Fixing it right, day or night. SG Heating and Cooling is located at 7005 Cooley Lake Road in West Bloomfield. SG offers free estimates on new equipment and 0% interest financing for up to 18 months. Eligible equipment qualifies for rebates from Consumers Energy and DTE. SG will clean your furnace, verify it is working properly, and perform a safety inspection for only $59. SG also offers duct cleaning and sanitizing starting at $300. You can find us on the web at sgheatingcooling.com or call 248-242-6730 today for all of your heating and cooling needs. SG Heating and Cooling, fixing it right, day or night. 248-242-6730.
Do you remember turning 18? Do you remember feeling independent? Was it a cause for celebration? Well, this week, 4 young adults in the state of Michigan will arrive at the age of independence and will lose the support of the foster care system that has seen them through some of the hardest times in their lives. They are tough and intelligent. Some will land on their feet no matter what. But let's talk about how much better the world would be if all of them had the support that allowed you to celebrate your independence. The question is, what can you do? Unring the Bell is a weekly show Tuesday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. right here on Cave Radio. We will be featuring interviews and in-studio guests geared towards creating a support system for these young adults that gives them the best chance to land on their feet and truly celebrate their independence. We will be exploring ways to use the trades, music, art, and technology to unring the bell, and we invite you to join us Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Be there.
You're listening to CRBRadio.com. The words and opinions you are about to hear are of the hosts and do not reflect the management, sponsors, or affiliates of Cave Radio Broadcasting.
Welcome to Detroit. We are live at 5. This is the Real Nonsense Podcast with Chris and Mel. The Real Nonsense Podcast is sponsored by Melodic Retirement Services, LLC. Prepare for your future today. For more information or to make an appointment for a consultation, call 248-301-2439. And we're live at 5. Mel, you're back. What's up?
Back.
All right.
I get a round of applause. Y'all clapping for me?
Round of applause. Mel is back. Mel is back. We're in the studio today.
They got me a drink, y'all. I came back.
I
to
know.
cocktails
Listen,
and
we had everything for you. I got the. It's been a long
I got
time.
a CD.
Got the signed CD from LaShawn Gary, the
Thank
Grammy
you,
Award-winning
LaShawn.
artist we had on before.
I appreciate it.
Right. The
And then I got me a blue. They call these blue MFs.
yeah, from
Down in,
Chanel, from Hustle Girl
At
Mixology.
the Aretha.
Yeah.
At the Aretha. But Hustle Girl Mixology made me her own. What is this called?
That's the blue MF.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
that's
it is.
she's incredible.
Cause see, look how much I done drunk already.
She's
So
incredible.
if I say something now,
She's incredible. Chanel's incredible.
It's really good, actually. I mean, it just tastes like juice.
She's underrated. She's incredible. She does good work.
I'm gonna hit you up, Chanel, because I'm mad I missed you. I hear that you asked about me a few times.
Yeah, she said.
So I'm gonna
I want to
personally
meet
inbox
Mel.
you so we can meet.
Mel. I'm like, I'm here.
And we can do an event together.
I was like,
Wouldn't that be awesome?
that would be awesome.
I think it would.
That would be
Because
awesome.
we need that in our life.
Absolutely. We
Christmas
need it in
coming
our
up,
life.
festivities, party. Come on now.
Oh, the whole 9 yards. Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Oh,
We're
February.
gonna do the Super Bowl right here. Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay.
Okay,
I love
absolutely.
it.
February 13th, we're gonna be live. The Real Nonsense is gonna be live with Hustle Girl Mixology at K Radio. We're gonna be live on site. Super Bowl Sunday. We rocking.
Yay.
All right. So today we have with us. Let me make sure I get the resume right because she got a lot of things going on. Right, counselor, sorority lady, doctoral student or doctoral candidate now, because that's the difference. When you're a doctoral candidate, that means you on your way to the puffy hat.
All right.
So the doctoral candidate, Miss Carlotta Prince. Welcome to the Real Nonsense Podcast.
Woo.
guys.
All right. So Carlotta, let's jump right into it. It's good to have you on.
Thank you.
And you work where?
I work at Cornerstone. Oh, we got a new name. Cornerstone Lincoln King Academy.
Cornerstone Lincoln King Academy.
Yep, formerly known as Cornerstone Health and Technology last year.
That's on the west side.
West side.
It's charter school.
It is a charter school.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. So let's talk about your business now, because you do have a business outside of your regular job, which is the Road to College Consulting LLC.
Yes.
So listen, we want to jump right into that because we know that you help work with a lot of high school students to help them
I do.
help prepare them for college and work with their parents. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Road to College, it actually started on a whim. So my former boss was like, hey, you need a side hustle. Like, education is cool, but you need a
That's
side
a hell of a
hustle.
boss to say get a
Okay.
side hustle.
Yeah. And they was preaching too, wasn't
Okay.
they? Weren't
But he
they?
had
Wow, that's a
he
nice
had the
guy.
side hustle. So he was like, this is great, but there's more out there for you. So
Sure.
I was like, okay. So he helped me set up the LLC, and
Wow.
like literally,
Wow.
like within an hour, I was like, okay, I got to think of a name. I already knew what I wanted to do. It's
Okay.
an extension of what I do for my students. And so within an hour, I had the name, the LLC, and everything. And I was just like, okay, so what do we do now?
He sound like Chris. That's what Chris is.
Yeah,
Yes.
quick.
Efficient.
Boom.
You say something in an hour, baby. You got a logo,
Exactly.
website, T-shirt. Okay, anyway. Yep. But that's amazing.
Look, you got to
Yes.
jump on it while the thought is there, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Forgot to mention the fashionable hoodie.
Oh, right. Yeah, the hoodie. I ordered those real quick
Did
too.
I fail to mention that?
I ordered the whole thing, everything in one swoop.
mask. I still need me another mask. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, Road to College.
Yes.
I love that
Thank you.
because our students need that.
Of
So, do you agree that students should start in middle school to get ready for college? What do you
Actually,
say?
I believe elementary school.
Really?
Elementary school.
Wow.
So the
Yeah.
exposure starts early. So I remember in elementary school, a lot of my teachers talked about the schools that they went to. A lot of them went to HBCUs. And I was like, okay, that's dope. Didn't really understand what an HBCU was, but I know they went to college.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my exposure started then in elementary school. And we had people that came in and kind of talked about their schools and things like that. But I think high school is a little too late. It's a little too
Wow.
late. Because by then you should kind of know what you want to do,
Where you
want
wanna
to
go. Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of times we wait until the senior year, and it's just like, okay, I have 9 months to
Right.
get my life together before I'm tossed out in the world. What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of school counseling kind of happens within the 12th grade year. So my goal is, let's start early. And even though I work in high school, I'm starting with the 9th graders because I got 4 years to get you together. By the time you become a senior, it should be easy selling. You should already know what you're doing and have a plan of action.
And where you going?
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
where
high
you
school
going?
counselor wasn't really the greatest for me. Actually, he suggested I go to the Army. He did.
Wow.
He did. Said, you should go to the Army. I'm looking at your grades. You should just go to the Army. And 5 degrees later,
Okay.
here I am.
See?
Right? So I was like, the Army, that's the only advice you got for me is just to go to the Army? But back then, so what do you think is the difference between counseling now, working with kids in school, counseling now than it was when you were in school? Because you graduated from what high school?
Of course, the greatest King High School class.
I thought you were going to say Cass.
2005.
I'll take King. I'll take
sorry,
King.
What?
I'll take the King. I'll take King.
I'm
Just-
gonna be nice.
You
I
made
don't know.
me feel, oh, she's talking
I
about
don't
class
know
of
what
2005.
class
I'm
is,
like,
but
for
we can
real,
remove
girl.
the C and the L.
2005.
We can remove
No,
the
I'm just
C
playing.
and the L. Okay.
No C and L. Got it. Okay.
No, I graduated from King. And so back then it was more so, it wasn't inclusive. And by that I mean, my counselor was like, okay, what do you want to do? Okay. But she really helped me out because I worked in the counseling department. I got my hours, my community service hours through there. And she set me up to go on a trip to Bowling Green. And then that was the only school I applied to, the only school that I went to. And I don't regret the choice because it made me who I am. But she just like, okay, what do you want to do? Here's an option. Let's go for it. And that was like the only conversation, really.
Wow.
But now, it's everything, exposure to careers in the military, community versus 4 years. So it's more inclusive now.
So what's the deal with the Detroit Promise? So what's the deal with that?
Oh, Detroit Promise. Okay, so I definitely love it because it gives our students.
So explain to our audience what it is exactly.
Okay, so Detroit Promise says that if you graduate from a Detroit high school and you live in Detroit, you have 2 options. So if you have less than a 3.0, you can go to any one of the 6 community colleges. So that's Henry Ford, OCC, Macomb, Schoolcraft, Jackson, and WC3
For
for free.
Is that
For
that's
free.
not the tip? Is that tip?
No.
No. Tip is different.
Okay,
Yep.
let you finish that, then talk about tip.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So you can go to the community colleges for free. So really, when
Wow.
you go to community college, you don't pay for room and board. It's really tuition.
For free.
But the only college that does have it is Jackson. So students that want to go to a community college but want to live on campus, they can go to Jackson. On the flip side, if you get a 3.0, you live in Detroit and you graduate from Detroit High School and a 1060 on the SAT, you can go to any of the public universities in Michigan and they pay your tuition. Of course, you
Wow.
have to pay, room and board, but tuition is covered
Wow. So they can go to school for free.
for free.
Books included?
Books typically are included. So
Wow.
they do books and fees. It kind of covers that.
So how do they apply for that? Like, so when they're a junior or senior, they go to the website.
So
and
years past, years past, you could type in Detroit Promise on Google, and then you had to do it your senior year. Starting this year, 9th graders can start applying. So 9th through
Wow.
12th. So they don't have to wait till their senior year.
Wow. That's incredible.
So
It
you
is.
can start in
There's
the
just
9th
no
grade.
excuse anymore.
It
There's no
really
excuse.
isn't. Yeah.
No excuse. Nice
So
that you
how
can
is
go
the
to college.
Detroit Promise different from TIP?
So TIP says that if you've been like on Medicaid or mom and dad had like food stamps or whatever, at any point for 2 years of your life, you automatically get TIP. You have to accept it though, but you automatically get TIP. They went away with the application fee now. So as long as you qualify, you get it. So if you go to a community college, you can get the TIP money like right away. If you go to a 4-year, you have to wait until your 3rd year because they want to make sure that you stay and that you graduate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So does Road to College, I know that sometimes when you look at college entry and you look at like occupational stuff, there's tests that people run to see how your personality aligns with whatever maybe you should go into. Is that something that you feel that should still be done? And do you provide any of that to kind of maybe gear a
Sure.
student into what direction or what lane they should be in when they go to college?
Definitely. So there's a program called Zello. So most schools, high schools, are using Zello. So it's kind of like an assessment.
Okay.
You have to have the contract through the school. With my business, there are a lot of aptitude tests that you could take that you can find on Google, and
Yeah.
that helps a lot. So you have that portion of it, Zello if you do it in school, and then you have the, you can do a simple Google search and do one. But I think a lot of times students don't know what they're capable of or what they
Yeah.
like. They're just
Right.
like, oh, I want to go to this school or this school because I've been watching sports all my life.
Why do everybody want to do hair?
You know what?
That's what I want to know. Don't nobody want to be a doctor, Lord, no more. They just want to do
Now,
hair and
you know what?
cook.
Right,
What
yeah.
I've seen in the last 3 years, even through the pandemic, everybody wants to go into real estate.
Oh, okay.
They
Which
wanna
is
go into real
lucrative.
estate, and
It
then
can
they
be.
want to do what is it called? Not Bitcoin. What's the other one?
Crypto.
Crypto.
Yeah.
They want to do
They
that.
want to invest.
Yes.
They
and
want
I'm
to be
just
an
like,
overnight like success.
right? And I'm like, okay, that's cool.
They want to invest $500 and wake up with 40,000.
Yeah.
50,000.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a dream.
Somebody posted it happened. They was like, "This happened to me last night."
I love to wake
I
up like
bought
that,
$500 and I woke up with 40,000 more. Like
Yes.
you're a liar.
And then it's like, okay, so I went to bed. I was broke. I woke up. I had money, and,
Right,
and
right.
I'm like, yeah, all right.
So
that's
now
cool.
you've seen so now since you've been a counselor, that means you have students who have already graduated from college at this point.
Oh yes.
So what is that feeling like?
I'm starting.
Because you're
to
still
feel
young.
I am, but I'm starting
Right.
to feel a little old. So I started in education at 22. Actually,
Wow.
I started as a counselor at 26. So I was
That's
fresh,
awesome.
fresh out of college. I went through the AmeriCorps
Where'd you go?
program. I went to Bowling Green State University.
You did say that. I'm sorry. That's HBCU.
I wish.
Oh, see, you see how
And I'm
literate
glad-
I am.
Listen,
You see how
HBCU.
stupid I am? Don't laugh at me, nobody.
no,
I was
no,
just, I
no.
was curious.
That's the straight
I was,
plug.
look, I was trying to
Nah.
see you on the football field
Listen.
doing the dance. Like, girl, did
Oh,
you
we
dance
were.
in the thing?
Oh, we were.
Look, that's
You
the
did?
straight
Oh, you
plug I
did?
need. That's the straight plug I needed because I wanted to ask you this question. This is a hard.
Why
this-
you over there laughing? Is that your brother? Because he's ignorant. Kick him out.
This a difficult question I wanted to ask.
You can't be here no more.
Why do, and this is my perception, right? It seems like sometimes colleges are like, or counselors are like, well, you don't have the grades to go to Michigan State, so you could just go to Tuskegee, or you don't have the grades to go to Michigan, so you could just go to Alabama A&M. Like, why is it that HBCUs are? Because I'm a graduate of a HBCU. We're not the dumping ground for people who don't
Okay,
achieve. I mean, we're
listen.
just not.
I still want to go to one because
I got a bachelor's and master's
I
from
want to be.
Southern
What's the girls
University.
that dance on the
majorettes.
Yes, I still want to be a
yeah.
majorette.
Yeah. So HBCUs.
You know, we should do a fake majorette tour.
Okay.
Oh my god.
And just get some girls together.
Yes.
And then when the games happen, then they can let us,
I love it.
We can
Yes.
like
Oh wow.
I already
we can
got
like
the
form a,
uniforms.
call the school, write a letter like we are from Detroit,
Melody
and we would like the
is
majorette experience.
back.
Will you
Yes.
allow us to
Melody is
come
back.
perform on the field with y'all?
Listen,
Let's come practice
I'm
for
not
a
gonna
week,
lie.
and then we gonna perform with y'all on the field
Yes.
for Boom Boom Week or whatever Boom Boom Week. See, I'm ready for it. I'm all for it.
Look, I took some
I'm
kids
choking
on the
over here.
HBCU tour, and I had some of my cheerleaders,
serious.
and they like battled the cheerleaders on their court, and it was like such a surreal experience. I
My
was
God,
like,
it's serious business.
I mean, do you advocate for students to go to HBCU? I mean,
of course.
I'm glad that you do.
I am an HBCU advocate. Even though I didn't go there, I support all schools. And so there's a program called the Black Common App. So everybody heard of the
Yeah,
regular
Common App.
Common App,
Absolutely,
right? So the Common App has all these thousands of schools that you can apply to. The Black Common App is just for HBCU schools. So I think it was like for $20, you could apply to like 61 HBCUs
Wow.
with one application.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so
Does
the guy
still
that
exist?
it still exists.
yeah,
the guy
absolutely.
that created it is Robert Mason.
Black
that's
Common App.
Black
Black
Common
Common
App.
App,
And
yeah.
so
Y'all
he
hear
has
that?
all these
BlackCommonApp.com.
HBCUs on there that you can apply to. So what I did was in Michigan, we have like all of our public and private schools on a sheet, and it kind of ranks them by average GPA, SAT score to get in. We didn't have that for HBCU, so with my business, I sat down and I took like the top 50 HBCUs that my students applied to and ranked them. And so it goes from 2.0 all the way up to 4.0. And so I do a front and back sheet. So on one side, you know, okay, if you want to stay in Michigan, here are your choices. Let's see where do we fit in,
Yeah.
okay?
Right.
And then on the HBCU side, where do you fit in? So it's not if you can't make it here, try here. It's
Yeah.
find your fit. Where do you fit in at?
So let me take you on this turn for a minute. I don't want to go down a real dark path, so I'll just touch on it briefly for a second. So this week, you know, I'm out of the schools now. I'm in Central Office now.
Lucky you.
Yeah. but we had a horrific situation that happened out in Oxford, right?
Yeah.
I mean, totally horrific. I'm actually glad that they were
Devastating.
caught yesterday. You know, you can't run into
Horrified
you can't
everybody in
commit
the
crime and run into Detroit and hide. Detroiters are not tolerating that foolishness. So
Like,
at the end of the
not
day,
here.
it's not going to happen. But I know that impacted schools all across the state and students and staff. So how did you deal with that this week at where you are?
Yeah, so the next day, we actually had an assembly with our students, and we sat down and kind of talked to them about, you know, the school is a safe space, and if you need to talk to somebody, if you have issues with someone, you know, my office is open. You can leave an anonymous tip. I have a mailbox on my door. You can slide it under my door, things like that. So we just had to have a real conversation with them, and it's like, you know, if you hear something, if you know something, say something. You know, don't keep it to yourself. But at the same time, I had to send an email home to parents too to let them know, like, we provide a safe space for our students. You know, prayers out to Oxford High School and the community. But for our students, I want them to know that, you know, if you need to talk, you can talk. And I think a lot of times we kind of shy away from it because the kids was like, well, it didn't even happen here. It's 50 minutes from our doorstep.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
50 minutes. So it
Exactly.
can happen anywhere.
So
And
close
this
to home.
is so close to home.
I mean, we had a fatal stabbing like 2 years ago, right out in what was it? I can't remember what city that was, but the girl stabbed the other girl in the chest in class.
Yeah.
Right. So that just happened too. I mean, you know, it happens. It does happen. It's just fortunate it hasn't really come into the city like that.
Yeah,
But
we
it
pray it does not.
And I pray it does not. I pray it doesn't. So how are they moving forward with that?
Moving forward, I think more of the staff has been in the hallway more, just kind of making yourself of a bigger presence.
Sure.
I myself have been walking the hallways more, just checking in with students and things like that. So I hate to say it's business as usual, but when you kind of establish norms and things going on in the school, it's kind of okay to, you know, keep moving. But then also letting them know, like, hey, you know, we're still here to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To address it.
Yeah.
I just think that, students, they need to keep at the forefront of their minds that they're definitely there for their education. They get involved in the social stuff. And, students and kids, I think, just deal with a lot of depression, and parents need to really pay attention to their children and not allow them to come in and just get on their devices and go in their room. And you just don't know what's going on in their world,
sure.
and you need to really engage them
that's true.
and talk to them and figure out what's going on, because they're processing and filtering out a lot of stuff, and now they're part of metaverse, and they're far and way beyond where we are now, where compared to where we were then.
Right.
They're like advanced in information and what they have access to, so we have to be engaged and talk to them about what's affecting them in their lives, even their little relationships and stuff.
When school
they just-
school first started, we were like, okay, so how do we prepare for the students when they come back? We know they've been through a lot. What programs do we have in place? How do we deal with them? We know they've had some trauma. But then at the end of the day, we kind of forgot about the adults, right?
Yeah.
We need to remember them.
Yeah.
They go through too.
And some of the
Teachers.
adults
Yes.
Support staff.
are dealing with things a lot worse than the children are.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you would be surprised, some of
Yeah.
what some of the adults are going through right now. And so when you have adults with trauma, and you put them together with kids with trauma,
it's trauma. Yeah, you're right. It's,
who's helping who?
Oh my
Right,
goodness,
yeah.
okay? And so my office is not just for the students. Like the staff come in there, like I just need a moment.
Yeah, to like
Can I
breathe.
just sit? Can I
Yeah.
just sit here?
Yeah.
Like go right ahead.
Yeah.
Like
So-
do you need to talk? No, I just need to sit.
So your school is providing that type of situation
We are.
for that. Okay,
That's awesome.
that's
yeah.
a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I have a question though, because I when we were talking about just road to success and college preparation and upward, education. Back in the day, like way back in the day, I took it. How they had work
She always
study.
defines her life as back in the day.
Because it
and then
was.
way back
It
in the
was
day.
so long
Those
ago.
specific dates and years.
It was just
back
so
in the day.
long ago, but you know how they had work study with the Pell Grant, you get that right. And so I took a work study to work at Mumford High School as a college advisor, in the sense to kind of do what you're doing to kind of help the students get ready for college and everything. And so back then, though, your SATs and your ACTs were huge, and they wanted to score really big. Is that the same now? Like, is that the target to make sure that they score very well on that, or has that trajectory kind of changed?
So pre-COVID, yes.
Okay.
And so like the Detroit Promise program wanted you to have a 3.0 and a 1060
Okay.
on the SAT. Having 1,000 is good, but a 1060 really kind of opens up the door with all the scholarships and things. Since COVID, a lot of students weren't able to take the SAT because school shut down. And so the SAT was supposed to be in April, and then you had another chance in May and June, and we just didn't know what was going on. So a lot of schools did away with the SAT.
Gotcha.
And so they're saying, okay, we're going to look at your overall grades. You may have to write an essay or things like that. So I think colleges are seeing that, and what we've been preaching is more than your SATs.
Yeah.
Look at the whole student, because it's so much that they have to offer.
Because you can have a kid with a 3.8 that gets.
So
So the highest score on the ACT is what, 36?
On the ACT, yes, 36.
Okay. So a kid can have a 3.8 and get a 18 on the SAT.
So would you
on the
say
ACT.
that colleges are now looking at the overall scope of the student,
They
like they're
are.
looking at grades, character?
And they should.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should.
They
I mean, it's
should.
just been so long since I had to apply.
Yeah, and they should, because like I said, I mean, a kid could have a super high grade point average, just not be a good test taker.
This is
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so they get punished for that.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I've been advocating, and I just talked about this week at work. If you fail a class and retake the class, take the F off my transcript. I'm an advocate of that.
true. Okay. Yeah.
Instead
I'm
of
getting
it
pushback from it.
in, because it averages in now.
Now, what they told me is, well, Chris, we're not going to average it in.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take it, but it's just there. But we don't average it into the overall grade point average. Well, then why is it there? Let's just take it out. Period. If I
Yeah.
took it over again, I don't want it to be there. You know,
What would you say, Carlotta, to a student that says, "Hey, I don't want to go to college, so
I want to do hair.
I want to do hair. I don't want to be in debt. I don't want to.
hair.
I don't want
Yeah.
to take loans and things like that."
Sure. Let's find out how we can do hair. So there are so many different programs
Right.
that you can go to.
And by the way, doing hair is not a bad
Oh,
thing.
not at all.
I know plenty of hairdressers who live in very
Listen.
And they make good money.
Hey, they got it
Okay.
going down.
They
Trust
really
me,
do.
it's
good
nowhere near a
money,
bad
their
thing.
own hours.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's a lot of work too.
They take more vacations than me.
Absolutely. Right.
So we're not knocking any hairstylists out there,
no.
by the way. If you watching,
Right.
you know, Melody need a sponsor for the hair for the show on Saturdays, and I need a makeup artist, and I need some outfits,
The whole nine.
the whole nine.
Yes.
So go ahead, Carla. You were saying?
So no, if they want to do hair, okay, let's find some hair programs. A lot of them offer scholarships.
Yeah.
So you just need to know where you want to go. I think it's a place for everybody. You just need to have a plan and know where you want to go. If you want to go work, go to the military. You want to be a barber, cut hair, whatever the case may be. Just have a plan. Just don't leave school and then you still sitting in your mama basement talking about Mom, what's for dinner. Like,
Yeah.
go get a job. Let's
figure
do
something
something.
out.
You have to do something.
But you deal with a lot of them that don't have a plan, though, right?
So many don't
You
have
help them get a plan.
We can get all the way to graduation day.
Ooh.
And I cross them. They go across the stage. I give them their high school diploma, and then they leave. And then, like a month or two later, hey, Miss Prince, can you still help me? I didn't know that you was serious. I didn't know that this was. And I'm just sitting there like, so for 9 months or since the 9th grade, I've just been preaching to you. It went in one ear and out the other. What did you expect? Like, I don't
That's
get it.
sad.
So it hits them around late August, huh?
It does.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah,
see,
when they friends
September
get
is the
shipped
start-
out and they go up to the
Yes.
college and
Right.
they see them, then it hits
And school
reality,
starts
like,
back
oh,
again. Right.
I don't
Your
have anywhere to
friends
go.
leave.
They're
Right.
leaving. Life is continuing on.
Yeah.
Your
It's-
job at, whatever restaurant you working at, hours are being cut. It's like, what do
Yeah.
I do now?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I try to get you to have a backup plan.
So let me ask you this. So we talked about Detroit Promise. We talked about TIP. Okay. So one of our previous guests was Kari Turner from the Coleman A. Young Foundation. So how is that name ring a bell? Do you guys send
it does.
students over to the Coleman A. Young Foundation to get those scholarships?
We had a couple of students that did apply. And so Coleman A. Young Scholarship has been around for
Yeah, a long time.
I'm the
Very
first.
long
I'm the
time.
first graduate from the Coleman Young Foundation. I
Really?
am the first.
That's
wow.
dope.
You are?
Yeah, I am. I'm the
First
first person to
graduate.
graduate from the Coleman Young Foundation.
Really?
Yeah,
You get a plaque.
LaShawn was the second. He LaShawn Gary when he came on.
Oh, he's the second.
Yeah,
Okay.
we received the scholarship together.
Wow.
Yeah.
dope.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. That's why. Hence, I called Kari.
Yeah.
I really wish I
And
knew
you
about
paid it for it.
scholarships and stuff like that because it wasn't main note to us, So I came from a family where both parents had good jobs. They were working, but they didn't really go to college. Like, it just wasn't in there. So I'm a first generation student. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, what do we do? Okay, you're going to go to college. You're going to go to college. Okay. But it was kind of like I had to figure it out. And
Yeah.
then my counselor died within my senior year, and they didn't replace her, so it was kind of like figure it out on my own.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And
I'm
so-
so sorry.
Thank you, but this is the reason why I created
Right.
Road to
business,
success.
right,
Yeah.
because-
Road to college. I'm sorry.
yes, because there's so many students who don't know,
Yeah.
and their counselors are busy, or we have a teacher shortage. We also have a counselor shortage.
So if a student that does not go to your school and they're just out there and they want to maybe contact
me.
you, how can they contact you?
So on Instagram, Facebook is Road to College Consulting. The email address is roadtocollege@gmail.com. The road to the number 2. And then, hit me up on Facebook.
Facebook, just Carlotta Prince
Yep,
or Road
Carlotta
to
Prince.
College.
Both. My
Both,
personal Carlotta Prince, and then the business is Road to College.
So you know what? What about this transition? Okay, so here's one of the hardest transitions that I've heard people talk about all semester long. Is kids working during the pandemic and then coming back to school.
Oh, man,
So a lot of kids, they was balling. They was
Oh,
making
yeah.
16, 17, $18 an hour, right, in 11th grade. Like paycheck $600-700 a week.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
And now you got to get them back in school.
Gucci
how,
belts.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, straight up. So how was that transition, getting them back from saying, listen, you got to shut the job down and you got to get back to the A's, B's, and C's?
Really hard. A lot of those students who was really making money, they suffer with their grades. Like, they didn't pass. And so
And dropped out too.
Yeah.
They really did. And so because parents were working, they didn't really know what their student was doing. It was like, oh, I see them on the computer when I left, and then when you left, they left, you know?
Yeah.
And so now it's getting them back in the groove. Like the first month was really hard because kids were tired. They were going to sleep in the middle of the classroom. The teacher's like, are they on something? Like, no, they're tired. They're tired because when you've been used to, okay, I can be at home, I can lay in my bed.
Yeah. Log on.
I don't have to have on pants, you know?
Right,
and now
exactly.
you're telling them you got to wear a uniform.
COVID
you
messed
gotta wear
us
a tie.
up, didn't it?
It's so hard, but it took a while to get them back into the routine.
Yeah.
And then you kind of had to make school fun for them.
As it did
well.
all of us, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I had to put on shoes again.
Yeah. Me
Yeah,
too.
right. Yeah.
I still don't want to really. Well, I'm going anyway.
So are they still working? Are some of them still working?
Some of them are still working, and so they have to get a work permit.
Okay.
And so I explained to them in the beginning of the year, like, look, okay, if I give you a work permit, I'm granting you the access to work. But if your grades start slipping at the very bottom of that, it says the school or whoever the authorizer is has the authority to pull your work permit. And I had to during the pandemic. I had to call a couple of jobs like, hey, this kid is failing right now. Please don't put him back on the schedule. And they had to honor that because you had the work permit. Because if you don't, your business can shut down.
Now, you know, they
That's a
had
legal
kids working
document.
40 hours a week, which they
Wow.
knew
Was illegal.
was illegal.
Yeah.
And they had kids working double shifts and everything.
So
It was
I have a
scary.
question. How does that get enforced with DoorDash? And like, are they even allowed? I don't know. Even like, if you have are there seniors that have a full driver's license,
Right.
who can be out, who were making that money door dashing? Like, can you call DoorDash and be like, you need to shut his account down?
That's a good question. You know, half of the time with DoorDash, because it's not a regular in-building place, there's no one you can really call. So that's kind of hard to stop.
As a DoorDasher, I'm familiar with that.
It took
Someone on the phone can be tricky.
It
Yeah.
took me a long time to call DoorDash just the other day because my wife had me order something and it didn't come, and we were waiting for like an hour and a half. And so
Okay. Who worked for DoorDash?
it took a long time for me to get my money. A long time. I was
long
pretty hot
time.
about it.
Real long time.
Yeah, real long time.
Well, so the main thing is these students need to have what's, I guess, self-discipline and self-accountability.
Yeah.
And I always say that to my 11-year-old and to any student that I come across, because I don't think that they realize how responsible they need to be even in early years to be successful later. And it comes a time where your parents and your educators and your mom and your dad and your auntie have to stop kind of like preaching to you.
Yeah.
And you have to be, take your own life in your own hands. And so it's nice to see students that are motivated, but then it's nice to see those that like can talk to somebody like you and just get that clarifying
For sure.
conversation and now be on their way. And it takes somebody like you to kind of sit as an intermediary and just, between the parent and the student and say, hey, these are the steps that you need to take. So if we had to have Carlotta say maybe like 4 or 5 success steps that you would give to a student, because you said start at elementary school.
It does.
But if they can't, what if they're in middle school? What if they are in a sophomore? What if they're a junior? What are the main primary steps that they can take? Because I know that for number one, sometimes it could be testing, that could be
Sure.
inhibitor. It could be
Absolutely.
financing. It just could be I don't know what I need to do or what I want to do. It could
Yeah.
be I don't want to be in debt, so all of those things. And I one thing I can, and I think Chris would agree, that education historically and presently is the bridge to coming out of poverty and going to the next level in life. Like, we're advocates for education. So
Yeah,
we want you to be educated.
Yeah,
We
for
want you to go
sure.
to school.
absolutely.
So how do you?
I think first it starts at home. So
Definitely.
whoever is at home with the child, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, whoever, big mama down the street, whoever, they first need to expose the children,
Yeah.
to opportunities and things like that. So a lot of students have never left Detroit, never left Michigan.
Never seen anything.
Never seen anything. And
Wow.
so even with the, college tours, if you know a business or the school is having a college tour, let your child go. Let them get out of Michigan. Let them see what else is out there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't move because they weren't told to move. They weren't shown to move.
To move, right.
And so it starts at home, just simple things. Talk about colleges. Look up different colleges online. Watch a basketball game a football game, just to get that spirit into you.
Yeah.
That there's more to just Detroit, just to Michigan.
Exposure.
Definitely. And then get to know your counselor. Hopefully there is a counselor, but if not, we have different services. Like, I'm not the only business that does this. I know, but there are so many out there. And then there are mentorship groups and different fraternities and sororities that have teenage leagues and things that start for students that are in
we have Capital League,
5, right? And we have the rowers, and so we provide those exposures to students. So if it's not in the school, there are outside resources. So put your child in something, just to open up those windows of opportunities for them.
Yeah, some kids are late bloomers though. I mean, I was a real late bloomer. My brother wasn't. I was. But I graduated from high school. I think I had like a 2.6 maybe. I flunked out my first year of college easily.
Oh yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. I think I was a 2.5 too.
The light came on. I was about 20, 21 when the light came on finally. But I mean, some kids are just late bloomers, But it's hard, and it's hard to argue. For me anyway, I found the argument with students about, hey, I don't want loans. I don't
know
want
that early on. Well, that's good.
They say that all the time. I don't want a loan. I won't pay any loans back.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, well, wait a minute. Because when I first came back to the district, this was like 2018, and they were like, oh, doctor, so how much do you make? Because they have no problem asking you how much you make. Right. Kids will ask
all
you,
in your
how
business.
much
Yes.
you make? And you're like, what? And so you don't, I kind of answer, but then they're like, well, wait a minute. If I go to school, if you got that and you make this, well, then what? So they're doing the math, right? Yeah. When they're talking to you, because that's when the street math kick in. You think they don't know algebra, you think they don't know math, but they do, because they're figuring it out. Yep. And they're like, well, no. If I spend 4 years and pay this and do that, and I make that, then I'm already in the hole, right? So how do you combat that kind of mindset as a counselor?
That, you know what, that is a hard argument. One time a kid kind of was like, I can make more money than you being a garbage man. I was like, okay, go do it.
Go do it.
I'm not going to stop you. But I think I share my story. Like, this was the path that I wanted to take. I knew that I needed more education to get to where I am.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I have so many loans and I can never repay them. And I just could never repay them because it's so much. But I have the degrees, right? I have the job, and then I'm helping other students not do that. So, like, I could have had less loans if I did scholarships, right?
Yeah.
And so I have a whole scholarship list, a monthly scholarship list of scholarships around the world that students can apply to. And the thing about it is, kids say, I don't want loans, but they don't want to sit down and apply to scholarships.
Exactly.
That's the hard part. And so a lot of times I literally have to sit there and hold their hand like, okay, put your name there, write this here, let's do this. Like, literally just to get them to do it. And it's like, once you do the first or two with them, they're like, oh, it's not that hard. I can do it myself. Yeah. So to come back, going into debt, do some scholarships. There are ways that you can go for free.
They're out there. The scholarships are out there. They're out there for everybody.
And the sad part about it is a lot of our African-American students or students of color, they don't do it. And so much money that's left on the floor every year.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even fill out a FAFSA form until I entered a doctoral program. I didn't have any loans.
Well, you
or
didn't need to
financial
because you had a grant from the Coleman A. Young Foundation.
It didn't pay for all of it though. It was sizable, but it didn't pay for all of it. It was residual. My mother took care of the rest of it. Okay. Bless her heart. Yeah. And then I had a band scholarship too, so that kind of helped out as well. Nice. But I didn't even get that burden until I went to earn a PhD, and it's like, oh my God.
I lived off FAFSA.
Yes.
FAFSA saved my life.
Yeah.
Baby, I couldn't wait to get FAFSA. Okay. I'd be like, shoot, what the award package is?
Yes.
I'm just playing. Let me stop.
You wake up early, like, did he hit my account yet?
Right, exactly. But they don't want to get the loans. But the college and career pathways, I talk to kids all the time about, just make an effort to do something. I wish they had Detroit Promise when I was in high school. That's an incredible opportunity. I don't even see how you could pass that up. For sure. Like, you can go to school for free. You could get an associate for free.
Yeah, you can't beat that. But you have to be a Detroit public schools Graduate?
No.
No? Oh.
You can live in Detroit, go to a Detroit school. If your address of the school says Detroit, Michigan, you get the Detroit Promise.
The Detroit Promise, okay. But you have to graduate.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have a diploma.
Yeah,
Can you have a
gotta have-
GED?
No.
Okay.
Gotta have a diploma.
Diploma. So let's jump into some of your personal accomplishments, right? So right now you're on your way to being Dr. Prince,
Yes.
right? And you're 20 what?
20. I wish I
30
was
what?
20. I am 34.
34.
I'm 34. I had to think about it. I was-
That's what I'm talking
Thank
about.
you.
34 on her way to being Dr. Prince. So
Yes.
you're receiving a doctorate in what, Dr. Prince?
Counselor education and supervision.
Oh, excellent. And what do you plan? I'm gonna ask you the same silly question people ask me. What do you plan to do when you get that? I said I'm going to Fridays to happy hour.
Look,
but, but what do you
who
plan to do when
knows?
you?
She's gonna write some
knows?
books.
whew, you know, I do. That has always been a dream. I do want to write a book, but it's for aspiring counselors. So, you know, it was a couple of books that really impacted me while I was getting my master's, but they didn't talk about working in urban education. Like
Okay,
that
got it.
was not in any of my textbooks.
Yeah,
They talk about
big
how
deal.
you should
big deal.
sit, how you should speak to them, you know, how to have the lines of communication between school and home and things like that. If a crisis happens, what you should do. And these are all great tips because that's the counselor in me, you know, how to communicate. But nobody prepared me for working with urban youth and the home issues and the
What they deal with, yeah.
disrespect of the parents and things like that. Like nobody teaches you that. And so, you know, I would like to put a book out there that's
Yeah.
like, okay, for real, let's talk about
Like
urban
coaching.
school counseling.
Yeah, because how can you talk to them about, you know, applying for a scholarship when they're getting cussed out every day by their mom and they're not eating properly, they don't have sufficient clothing.
or mom doesn't want to give you, you know, the tax information so you can do the FAFSA.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean and it's really it's sad because sometimes you do have you know you have a population of parents that will do everything and sacrifice everything for
Yeah.
their children to be successful. Then you have crummy parents that really they'll say in front of people they want their child to be successful, but kind of still do things to hold them back because they don't want them to surpass them. And it's I've seen that. And so it's kind of sad. And so the
that
child
sucks.
really has to endeavor and persevere past that and need a support system like yourself to really be able to have take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, for
How
sure.
how's that doctoral journey been though? I mean, from the beginning to the end. I mean, what's it been like? Tell our viewers what that's like. For those of you who are trying to go and be Dr. Prince, what's that journey
my
like?
Goodness. So I started in 2015.
Yeah.
It's now 2021 and I'm at the end. But I took a 2-year hiatus because I got to the internship part. Now, the writing the papers and, you know, all that stuff was fine. And then we got to the internship part. And so for my program, I had to teach master students. And it was online. My program is online, but I had to teach master students. And it was hard because, you know, I've never been a teacher. I'm a school counselor, but, you know, in the state of Michigan, they did away with, in order to be a school counselor, you need to be a teacher. So I didn't have that experience. I just went in straight in counseling. So learning to be a teacher was a little bit hard, but I didn't have the support system that I needed when I first started. And so I didn't pass the first time. And then money got tight. I used all of my FAFSA money. And I was like, I don't know what I do now. And I couldn't afford it out of pocket. So I took 2 years off to kind of get myself together. But within those 2 years, you know, I was still passionate about it. I ended up paying for it. And then when I got back, but once I got back in the program, it's been a year. And within it, I have completed all 5 chapters. Turned it in, and now I'm just sitting and waiting for them to say, you know.
5 chapters of a dissertation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So what's your dissertation on?
It is on the engagement of African American caregivers. So caregivers are parents, grandparents, whoever houses the child, and their role in helping them to graduate.
Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So,
Beautiful.
That's
Absolutely.
that's a beginning to your book.
See?
Yeah, it's coming together.
Right,
Yes.
right. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
I'm living
Won't
it.
he do it?
Wow. So, how many siblings do you have?
I have 4 siblings. Well, no, I am the 4th.
You're the oldest.
I am the oldest.
Wow. So you're setting the standard, huh?
I got 2 siblings.
You setting the standard kind of high, huh?
I am. So we are, it's so funny, we are 12, 15, and 17 years apart.
Wow.
Yeah, my
And your
parents
parents
started
been,
over.
how long they been married?
God, 26 years. I
What's your
think.
parents? What did your parents do?
My mom, she works for Subway. Dad worked for, what was it, American Axle?
American
Okay.
Axle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
American Axle.
So they stayed together and produced some good fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your sister, you got a sister. She's in college now.
Yes. So I got one sister. She just graduated in May from University of Michigan. And then my
Go Blue.
other sister is I was about to say a 10th grader. My other sister, she's in her second year at Michigan State. So
Oh,
yes,
she
that's
gonna be
awesome.
mad. You tell her she
Let-
had
Oh,
fifth
that's
grade.
my next question.
we are a house divided.
I got a question about University of Michigan, because don't they have a program where if you're low income, they'll let you come?
And so here's the thing. It was so funny for me. I was, the first child is always the experimental child, right?
Yeah.
So I have all the loans and everything. When my siblings, I was like, we're not doing this. So my sister graduated as valedictorian, so she got all the scholarships. She had the Wade McCree. She had something else. So she didn't pay a dime
Wow.
for University of Michigan. I was just like, lucky you.
And they cost a bag to go to
Okay.
U of M. U of M degree is not cheap.
So the U of M with that program, is that everybody in Michigan that's low income can go, or how does that work?
I think it is Michigan. Is if your parents make less than $65,000.
And the good news is you can go to U of M Dearborn, and ain't nobody gonna look at the Dearborn part.
That
Right.
or Flint. So that's
Yep.
one of the things I found out with my students when they graduate. Their diploma says
Tuition
University
is
of Michigan.
Nope.
It don't say Dearborn, Ann Arbor, Flint, none of that. You are a graduate of University of Michigan.
Yes.
So
And tuition is
Bam.
like 25%
Yes.
of what it is
Bam.
Oh, yeah.
in Ann Arbor.
oh yeah.
Go blue.
Go blue.
Go
And
blue.
I
then-
think I'm gonna go back.
And then my brother, he is a senior this year. So
Oh,
we
congratulations.
So we are a family of King.
All right.
So our parents were high school sweethearts at King.
Oh wow.
And then I went. My sister graduated.
Legacy.
Yes. Then my other sister was salutatorian. Now my brother is there. He's a senior. So
Wow, that's
That's
great.
whole
awesome.
family.
That's amazing.
So look, we're gonna get ready to go into a program break, and then we're gonna come back with Miss Carlotta Prince from Road to College Consulting LLC.
Okay.
And we'll be back.
Don't y'all go nowhere.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Don't let the moment pass you by. You wanna show me what's inside. I can see it all in your eyes. It's good times. Tell me, babe, what you waiting on? Your eyes say they don't wanna be alone, but you won't find out if you never try.
Feeling chilly? SG Heating and Cooling. Fixing it right, day or night. SG Heating and Cooling is located at 7005 Cooley Lake Road in West Bloomfield. SG offers free estimates on new equipment and 0% interest financing for up to 18 months. Eligible equipment qualifies for rebates from Consumers Energy and DTE. SG will clean your furnace, verify it is working properly, and perform a safety inspection for only $59. SG also offers duct cleaning and sanitizing starting at $300. You can find us on the web at sgheatingcooling.com or call 248-242-6730 today for all of your heating and cooling needs. SG Heating and Cooling, fixing it right, day or night. 248-242-6730.
Do you remember turning 18? Do you remember feeling independent? Was it a cause for celebration? Well, this week, 4 young adults in the state of Michigan will arrive at the age of independence and will lose the support of the foster care system that has seen them through some of the hardest times in their lives. They are tough and intelligent. Some will land on their feet no matter what. But let's talk about how much better the world would be if all of them had the support that allowed you to celebrate your independence. The question is, what can you do? Unring the Bell is a weekly show Tuesday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. right here on Cave Radio. We will be featuring interviews and in-studio guests geared towards creating a support system for these young adults that gives them the best chance to land on their feet and truly celebrate their independence. We will be exploring ways to use the trades, music, art, and technology to unring the bell, and we invite you to join us Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Be there.
Your business.
All right, we're back with Chris and Mel and the RealNonsensepodcast.com. Mel's back. All right, thinking about your retirement or need to evaluate your life insurance needs? Prepare for your future today. Contact Melody at Melodic Retirement Services to make an appointment. Call 248-301-2439. That's 248-301-2439. Melodic Retirement Services. So
Awesome.
we're back.
We back.
With Carlotta Prince from Road to College LLC. We're back in this thing. So, excuse me.
I thought you said you want me to talk to her.
I did. That's why I said, excuse me. I'm out. I'm out of the conversation. That's why I said, excuse me.
Okay, so Carlotta, because we were sitting here on the break and we were trying to figure out what we was going to talk about.
Okay.
So I had said that we was going to talk about your personal life.
Oh, wow.
Because she's on the road to she's the road to college and the road to success. And she's about to have the big poofy hats.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The poofy hat.
And her is
Can't wait.
doesn't have any children,
No.
not married.
No.
So what you think about that? Because it's a lot of women, especially us women of color and black women, that pursue our education, we pursue our success in our careers, and we kind of, we should, as we should, right? But we still have like things that we want to do as far as family and have children, things like that. And so I think it's a time that, for everybody is different because everybody's journey is different. So, but how do you feel about that?
It used to bother me at first. Like, why am I still single? Why don't I have any kids? But, I just believe that wasn't the path for me yet. Mm-hmm. Like, I had to accomplish my goals because I'm very inclusive in everything that I do. You know, when I'm in a relationship, I'm all in. In my doctoral studies, I'm all in. At my job, I'm all in, And so I feel like even if I was a mother now, I would definitely be all in. It's like everything would take a back burner. Yeah. And I don't think I would be as far as I am right now. So it just wasn't in my cards yet. Yeah. But yeah, it's coming.
It's coming. It's definitely coming. I'm really excited for you because you're like a prime example of. I think when I say like even to my daughter, the road or the path I would want her to take is pursue your education. Get your degrees, get your own personal goals out of the way, and then because you have time. Yeah. And sometimes we kind of think that we don't have time, but we do have time. Time is on our side. And so you can do all those things.
Yeah, I wish I had a PhD at 36. Wow, I
know that's amazing.
Let me think. I got mine in 2013, so I was.
So you literally could retire by 50 if you really do it right. Yeah, yeah.
That was my goal.
Listen, okay.
That was my initial goal.
Really?
I've blown way past that goal, but yeah, that was the initial.
Yeah, my goal was 30 to get my PhD.
Wow, when I graduated, I sat next to a guy. I graduated from University of Phoenix with a doctorate in 2013. The guy sitting next to me, he was 27.
Wow. See?
And everybody on the row, it was only 6 of us on the row, right? But everybody on the row looked and was like, wow. Because we were all in our late 40s and 50s, and here's this kid, basically. Yeah. And we're like, man, wow. I mean,
it's doable.
It says a lot when a person that young.
It really comes down to planning, and a lot of times, and unfortunately, I hate to get on us all the time, but us, our cousins, we don't like to plan for stuff. Yeah. And banks plan, businesses plan, colleges plan, universities plan. Everybody's planning, and even today, when people look at their numbers for the fourth quarter and whatnot, they plan certain things, and so we have to kind of get into that pattern of planning. Like, okay, in the next 5 or 6 years, I'm gonna be, junior in this high school. And then in the next 5 years, I'm gonna be a graduate of this, and then by this time, by the time I'm 22, I want to have, a degree, or I want to go, So it's and we just have to keep on repeating it.
Yeah, I mean, some. It's different levels of motivation, right? And everybody has something that motivates them. Yeah.
What motivates you, Chris?
I wake up motivated.
You wake up motivated?
I do.
How you wake up motivated? Because you know what? Let me just go back, because I remember you saying that you weren't always in this zone where you were always motivated.
No.
It's come as a new unction of urge and energy for
Yeah.
you in the last like maybe 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Because I wish I woke up motivated. I'm not motivated when I wake up. Not all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wake up, I'm like, I'm ready. Sometimes I wake up, look, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to see nobody. I want to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
My phone is ringing. I won't answer it.
You know,
People, and let me say this in full disclosure, because my phone, like, people think I'm hanging up on them. And I don't. You know how like when the phone is ringing and you can say answer it or the red button?
Yeah.
And I'll say I might click the red button and click, I'll call you back in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll call them back like, your phone hung up on me. I'll be like, but I didn't even pick up the phone and hang up on you.
Exactly.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
no. So
What motivates you, Chris?
in the past, it was what could I provide for my kids? What could I do for them? Right.
Yeah.
Then it went from that to what I could do for myself.
In your lifetime.
Yeah, what can I do for myself? What can I achieve?
Mm-hmm.
But now, even through this platform,
Yeah.
it's what can I do to uplift the community? What
I
can
love
what
that.
can I do to impact everyone?
So it went from personal.
It went from
No,
totally
it went
personal.
from your children to you,
Yeah.
and now it's communal.
Yeah, it went from totally personal. It was all
Yeah.
personal in the beginning.
Yeah.
What
can I
was your
do-
children at
What can I do
first?
for them? What can I do for me?
Right.
It was all personal.
Yeah.
And then when I sat back, I said, wow, what? Maybe that's not my calling. Maybe my calling is really
It's broader.
to uplift everyone else but me.
Wow.
And through that uplift,
I'm uplifted.
I'm uplifted.
I love that, Chris, because it's
Right.
about servitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the I think like maybe the niche between what everybody who's successful does, right? They have a mind to serve. Like
Yeah.
they're always serving. I always think about someone outside of themselves and what they could do to bring to the table, how they can add or make something better. Okay, so what keeps you motivated, Carlotta?
Ooh. The children.
Okay.
The children keep me motivated. Just knowing that there are so many who don't have that person. I've always wanted to be the person that I wanted. You know, I wanted to be the counselor that I didn't have.
Yeah.
That big sister to everybody. I always wanted to
Yeah.
be that person. And so sometimes I'm Auntie Prince, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not just Miss Prince, I'm Auntie Prince, and I take it with love because I know that I connected. So I'm motivated by the students to provide those opportunities that I didn't have.
Absolutely. You know, and it's good because you were talking about the single life, and I said, you know, it's good because when you have somebody in your life that really is really there and pushing too, that really helps. Because I tell you know, even for me, the only question I'm ever asked by my wife is, "Are you gonna be too tired
To do what? Anything.
to do whatever brainstorm I woke up with the next morning?"
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I love that about her, though.
You sure you're not gonna be too tired?
Yeah.
It's never. That's a stupid idea. That's not gonna work.
Yeah,
You
she's
can't
just
do
like,
that.
do you have the energy to do all
Oh
this
no,
stuff?
she knows I don't have limits. Her,
Yeah.
her concern is, are you gonna burn yourself out
Yeah.
completely? So that's the only concern. So I say, you know, you got a big resume though for the average guy though. You got a big resume. You got a lot going on. That's kind of intimidating, huh?
Okay. So I've been told, you know, that I can't be intimidating just by my resume. And I'm like, why? I'm so sweet.
Oh,
What do you mean?
look, when you put the puffy hat on it, it's gonna be.
Listen.
Let me tell
I've
you.
already told
That's a
my
whole different
students,
realm
I said, just
of-
get
of
used to seeing
foolishness.
it. I'm wearing it for like a good month straight. I am. I'm gonna wear it for a good. They better be glad I don't wear the whole robe, but I'm gonna wear the hat.
Most women that I met before I got married, if I was just out somewhere at a bar or something, and somebody said, I never said I was a doctor to them. Somebody will walk in and say, "Hey, Dr. So-and-so," and they would say, "Where's your office? What's your practice?" They would always think it's medical.
Right.
They would never think it's academic. And I would joke and say, "I'm a gynecologist. My office is on 6 Mile." But seriously, no, they always think medical. Nobody ever thinks academic when you say doctor.
They don't.
They never think that. So,
Yeah.
congratulations to you on that achievement because that's a major milestone.
Yeah, I'm
milestone
proud of
achievement.
you as well.
Yeah, Mel's back with a
I'm
sheet.
gonna come to your graduation. Make sure
Please
you
do.
invite
Please
me.
do.
Mel's
Yes.
back what?
Absolutely,
I'm gonna go to
absolutely.
school, be a doctor too.
Dr.
A
Mel,
law degree or something. I need another credential.
Do it.
Dr. Mel.
I need something.
Yeah, hey.
Why not? I don't know. I like the Wayne State has a program for dispute resolution. I think naturally I'm a dispute resolution person. Like
Yeah.
I can really like solve problems. So
I think
that might be
that's the
good.
only thing I can't go home and say I'm going to do is go back to school.
Yeah, I know. After 5 degrees, Chris,
She's
I don't.
she's not
I'm
having.
not-
Well, she didn't meet me with those.
What else
We
can
met-
you get after a doctorate? Though?
We met another doctorate, but that's about it.
Oh, another doctorate.
But she's not having a school thing. She would have another business, but not a school thing. No school thing. No, she would say absolutely not. Out of the question. No. Period. Done. No, we're not doing that because that's going to take up way too much time.
yeah.
I'd be better off just starting a whole new business and getting a PhD. That would be crazy, crazy, crazy. Actually, I started on it and I dropped out and was done with it because my brother said you're going to be unemployable. Yeah, 2 PhDs, you're
too
unemployable.
qualified.
Yeah, you're unemployable. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to my buddy. He stopped telling people he has an engineering degree and got a job in a week.
Exactly. Yeah, I shaved.
and
I shaved
what?
down my. Yeah,
You said
Oh, he's stocking food at Target. It's not great, but I mean, he's got experience in grocery, and
But what I
he's
love is-
actually doing really well for himself. Weirdly enough,
What I love is like what your prior boss told you was to start your own business, and that's the name of the game for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So your gift will make room for you. So
For sure.
when you tap into what your gift is and you brand it and incorporate it or whatever, work it, it opens doors.
It does.
So listen, this has been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation with Miss Carlotta Prince of Road to College Consulting LLC. Or is Road to College Consulting
LLC.
LLC? Got it. I got it right. Got it right.
Yeah.
So this is Kristen Mel, the Real Nonsense Podcast on Cave Radio.
We make it make sense.
Well, we make it make sense.
We hope some students were listening.
Absolutely.
Maybe some educators were listening that could get some tips from what Carlotta said today to help
Absolutely.
their students.
For sure. And if anybody is listening, I am giving $50 off a full package.
Wow. So if you're
What's
listening,
the package include?
The
$50 off.
package includes $50 off. So SA help, financial aid help, and applying to colleges.
Okay.
All in one.
So if
they-
you heard it on this podcast, Road to College Consulting LLC is giving $50 off. If you mention this podcast when you call for the package, just mention this podcast, you get $50 off. Right?
Yep.
That's what she said.
Hey, there we go.
I think.
Good. Okay, so we're good. We're good. And we're out.
Peace out.
Peace
everybody.
out.